Warahmatullahi Wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Rika Sanda Dewi, with the official number is A1M219108. I am student at Halu Oleo University. As you can see on the screen, yes, our topic today is critical language testing. There are 5 topics in critical language testing. The first is early recognition and development. The second is main contribution. The third is work in progress. And the fourth is response, minimizing and rejecting. And the last is power, feature, direction. And early recognition and development. In most countries around the world, individuals must pass an examination either to enter an educational program, to pass from one level to the next, or to be awarded a certificate to practice a profession. Tests determine whether student will be allowed into secondary school and higher education, and in many cases even kindergarten and elementary school. In school, grade tests are used across all subjects and grades and have an effect on students' status and their classes, as well as their identity and self-concept. Tests are used by teachers as a disciplinary tool to control student behavior and curriculum, and to increase the status and practice and of certain topic and subject. Critical language testing stem from a focus on the use of language tests and the realization of their immense power to influence education, society, and even the status of countries as a result of international test performance. It is the power of tests and the adverse discussion they bring that give them such status in society that people change their behavior in order to succeed in tests. Summit 2001. Therefore, there is a change in the behavior stakeholders in an extensive effort to achieve high scores in effect, in many schools, the material included in the tests become the de facto curriculum and often ignores the existing written curriculum because those who introduce tests often have different educational agendas. Okay, the second material about man contribution. A social perspective, the use of test power and control is convincingly argued by faculty in discipline and punish the breadth of the recent 1979 faculty test that examination has innate features that enable it to be used to exercise power and control. In particular, he mentioned that tests serve as a means of maintaining hierarchy and normalizing judgment. They can be used for surveillance, to measure, classify, and punish. Their strength lies in that they can cause differentiation among people and to judge them. The test consists of ritual and ceremonies along with the establishment of truth and in the name objective as a focal part it. In a Foucault's biography written by Eribon 1992, he provided evidence of Foucault's personal experience and suffering from the test, making him a test victim. He points out that Foucault himself, a test victim who failed a high-stake test, reference is made to situation in which tests played a detrimental role in his own life, perhaps causing him to gain particular insight into the use of tests as a disciplinary tool. Foucault 1979 also notes that it was only in the 20th century that examiners made tests carriers of objectively unobtrusive message, whereas in the In the past, examiners had to face takers head on and share responsibility for test discussion. Get the trade material about work in progress. Over the years, a large number of questions have arisen that fall under the critical language testing paradigm, with the introduction of language citizenship tests for immigrants in a large number of countries in Europe, Asia, and elsewhere. Many studies have demonstrated the harmful effect of the tests. Nolan 2008, based on the Protocol on Integration in the Swedish Parliament, points to the debate and text expression a sense of discrimination given the goal of integrating immigrants into mainstream society. In the fourth topic about response, minimizing and rejecting power. The topic below cover assessment, initiative, strategies and practice that can lead to more positive test results that are fairer and largely educational. It goes beyond standardized tests into language testing, proposing a means to self-test, to learning, and less to assessment. Dynamic assessment, an approach in which testing and teaching are connected and hence minimize the power of tests based on figure-test guides, social culture theory in which the emphasis is on the use of tests for learning. The literacy assessment enhance basic knowledge of assessment, including critical language testing, and focus and on its consequences and impacts, which need to be addressed and are part of language testing along with other factors. Informative or alternative assessment efforts to develop assessment strategies in a more constructive than the item standard external, often developed by local agents in school and not by the central agents. That's for native context, given that the essence of the test is that it gives the importance of language and gives the message that they should be empowered. There is a call to enter to original language in the repertoire of casting, complete language repertoire. This refers to the extension of the assessment to include a language as person knows, regardless of any level language proficiency. And the last topic about future direction. Critical language testing raises and questions about the quality of the test, its consequence, and the difficulties it poses to participants in the test system. Tests often offer simple solutions to complex problems. Research in this area seeks to explore areas in which tests are abused by examining their consequence and the intention of those who introduce them. Response have been so mixed that what counts as negative as or positive continue to be debated in a light of mixed view that is related to the values of tests, tackles the national education system, and the ideology of governments and regiments to use tests for power and control. However, the obligation of those involved in language testing is to adopt a critical language testing approach to try to look beyond the test itself and toward its use in the words. A good test might be necessary, but in the sufficiency in the duty of others working in the development and the use of tests to constantly ask questions about the purpose and use of tests in education and society in relation to the various group whose national language is a second language. Okay, I think enough for me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.